Alright, we're going to tackle Volume 3 of this Tomb Raider. Dark Horse's Tomb Raider Volume 1, because it has to have a really long title like that. And these last 6 issues are by Rihanna Pratchett, and it is called Queen of Serpents, and this collects issues 13 through 18 of this run. Anyway, so once again we borrow from the Tomb Raider 2013 well by saying, oh, you remember that old sailor guy? Well, he's alive and he's being held for ransom in Mexico. Jonah, Sam, and Laura, and the woman who was the sister of the nerd from the 2013 game, they all go to Mexico to rescue him. That's really it, and it loosely tries to tie into Rise of the Tomb Raider, but fails. That's really it. Nothing happens in this other than Lara discovers the woman holding this man for ransom, who, spoilers, isn't even the person they think he is, was a lover of her father, which is what they also do in Rise, and it's really weird. Like, why are we doing this in here? It just doesn't work. I don't get it. It's a bad story, really bad. It might be the worst one of the 3. Sam is absolutely unlikable and is, spoilers, still possessed by the spirit from Yamatai. Or it was called Yamatai. I don't remember. I played Tomb Raider 2013 probably back in 2013. I have not played it since. It's not that great of a game. This is a bad arc. It's really, really bad. The only interesting set piece is Lara ends up rescuing this kid, which is kind of not very important to the story, but is nice, because Lara's a good person and rescues this little girl in Mexico, and Lara's forced to fight an alligator with only a machete, which is kind of cool. It felt kind of Top Cow-esque, and also kind of modern Tomb Raider as well. It was a nice blending of the two, but other than that, everything else is dumb. There are some cats that live on a boat that end up attacking someone, and I did get a chuckle out of that, but literally, this is just bad. What would I rank this? I give it a 2 out of 5. It's just terrible. Just like the first volume of this. Like, all 18 of these issues are just a waste of time. This story goes nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. It'll be curious to see what Dark Horse's Tomb Raider Volume 2 does, because that might redeem some of this nonsense somewhat. I've already read a teeny bit, and it does kind of pick up after this, but it was very clear that Crystal Dynamics, Rise of the Tomb Raider was on the horizon. This probably was not selling well, because it relies too heavily on you having to play the game. Unlike Top Cow's Tomb Raider, the irony of the whole Top Cow thing is, with the exception of the Angel of Darkness adaptation comic we got, in that run, you didn't have to play a single Tomb Raider game to get something out of the Top Cow stuff. Whereas this, it is essential you play through the whole thing of the 2013 Tomb Raider game, because it never stops talking about Yamatai. That's all everyone talks about, which is arguably more interesting than any of the things that happen in this comic. It's bad. It's a waste of time. It is. I never read anything Rihanna Pratchett wrote prior to this. I don't know if I ever want to again. I don't think I'll directly seek anything out. But, man, the really disappointing thing is that Gail Simone wrote half of this. Gail Simone wrote half of this, and it is easily the worst work of her entire career. I don't know if they just tied her hands or like she just was having an off year that she worked on this comic, but it's or was working on too many things, but it's clearly like terrible work. Everything is bad. Laura's not particularly likable. Her friends are either one dimensional or just unlikable or both. That just sucked. It was a bad run. And if I ever do like a Tomb Raider reread, I think I would skip all 18 issues of this and go from Tomb Raider Journeys to Dark Horse's Tomb Raider Volume 2. I might fully skip it. We'll see. We'll see if I even like Tomb Raider Volume 2 cuz at least it's shorter, but man. And the other thing is this is just it suffers from modern comic syndrome where everything has to be a 6-issue arc. And most Tomb Raider stories, as I've said numerous times when we did the Top Cow stuff, 4 issues is more than enough. Most of those were 2 issues, although I could go for 3 with a lot of those, where they were a little too short, and I wanted more, which is not bad. That's just the sign of a good writing there. But these could have been 3 issues, 3 to 4 issues. They don't need to be 6. They don't. And not everything has to be written for the flippin' trade. Like, honestly, if you're a Tomb Raider fan, unless you're a hardcore Tomb Raider Survive fan of that trilogy of games, I would say skip these comics. They are not worth your time to check out at all. They are incredibly disappointing. There's no classic Tomb Raider charm to any of them. It's just misery simulators and oh woe is me, the comic. That's what most of this comic is oh woe is me, I'm Lara Croft, blah blah blah. And it's just like, bad things happened to her in the Top Cow comics, and she didn't complain about them 24/7. Arguably, worse things happened to her in the Top Cow comics. She flippin' died and went to the underworld in those. You don't see that happening in these. She didn't complain about it in those comics either. Like, just saying. I don't know. Modern comics are kind of tedious to read, I swear.